Yeah, I know. I understand. Yes. So you do like being filmed in high def? You do like it? Yes. What up? How about this? Do you like being our special guest today? That's right. You are. I know, you're stunned. It's exciting. Hello, Internet, and this is another Billie Talks. Now, I'm not even gonna go there with why I haven't made one for a good month. Not been a good time. I was sick, so if I cough or clear my throat, I apologize. Today we're talking about the, one and only. No, she's not that famous, but I want to talk about her. She went by Billie Boggs at one point, but her name was actually Joyce Patricia Brown. Joyce Patricia Brown. She was actually a mentally ill homeless person, and she was it says on Wikipedia, my best friend, that she defeated New York City's efforts to force her into a psychiatric treatment program. She was mentally ill, and through her actions, which I will talk about in a moment, she helped kind of like pave the way for psychiatric treatment like standards, because you know now, if you, well, I don't know if you know, I'll tell you, if you go to the doctor, they cannot force treatment on you for anything. They can't like make you take medication, and they can't make you check in or like stay overnight. If you want to leave, you can leave. You don't have to do what they say. Well, you have to respect what they say. You just don't have to listen to it. But basically, that's a big part of that is this woman. Little background. She was born on September 7th, 1947, and became a secretary. She lived with her parents until they died in 1979, and then lived with her sisters. She admitted to drug abuse, including heroin and cocaine, and was arrested for an assault in New Jersey in 1982. And 3 years later, her sisters took her to East Orange General Hospital for psychiatric evaluation, and she was diagnosed as psychotic and treated with antipsychotic medications. Who would have thought? And she was put in restraints after attempting assault on the staff. But in May of the following year, after an argument, she left her sister's home and apparently became homeless. So that's where the story begins. This is a little bit of history on her being homeless. She lived in a hot air vent grate near 2nd Avenue at 65th Street near Swenson's ice cream shop for about a year prior to her 1987 commitment. She was involuntarily committed to the Bellevue Hospital on October 28, 1987, after a series of incidents which purportedly included running into traffic, exposing herself to passersby, making threats, tearing up and urinating on money that passersby gave her, and covering herself in her own excrement. You may hear that and be disgusted, but this was it's sad. It's a mentally ill woman trying to live on the streets and, you know, deal with what's going on in her life. She gave false names, including Ann Smith and Billie Boggs, after Billie Boggs, a former local television talk show host in New York City, claiming in court that she gave the false names to try to hide herself from her sisters. Her sisters had been looking for her for some time and went to Bellevue to identify her after recognizing court sketches of her in the news after her involuntary commitment. So Billie Boggs was not her name. Yeah, she called her that. Oh, after Bill Boggs, a former local television talk show host. During her commitment in 1987, her commitment and trial, Dr. Francine Cornos, Columbia University assistant professor of psychiatry, testified that she was mentally ill, so they could be sure that she's not just crazy on the outside. She's crazy on the inside. Robert Levi, staff attorney from the New York City Civil Liberties Union, defended her in court. This is a big part of why she's a big deal. So on January 15th, 1988, State Supreme Court Justice Irving Kirschenbaum ruled that New York City could not forcibly medicate her. Shortly thereafter, acting State Supreme Court Justice Robert Lippman ordered her release, in part because although she was mentally ill, her behavior was not obviously and immediately dangerous to anyone. She was released in late January after about 11 weeks of involuntary commitment and a return to the streets. This is where it gets kind of sad. In 2000, the New York Daily News reported that Brown attended a talk sponsored by the Institute for Community Living. The article, which described Brown as formerly homeless, stated she was continuing to receive drug counseling and had recently suffered a stroke. Social Security Death Index reports that Brown died on November 29th, 2005. The last line just says that she died. I mean, no detail. They had to check the Social Security Death Index, meaning that they just, saw that she was dead. I mean, she didn't have people who loved and supported her other than her sisters, and she rejected them. She was kind of alone by herself, but she really impacted stuff. So that's my moment for today. She was kind of one of the first people who they had to start saying that just because she's mentally ill doesn't mean she can't choose for herself. I think a lot of the time people assume that people with mental and physical disabilities can't pick for themselves and they can't decide for themselves. And I think that's wrong because they're people. They're people, they think and feel and act, and just saying that, because they think a little differently or act a little differently means that they're not as good as us, those who don't have any kind of noticeable mental or physical disability. I mean, or any disability at all, but, it really, she wasn't knowingly standing up for her rights because she was mentally ill and she was just living on the streets and doing stuff people didn't like. But in what she did, she actually probably helped a lot of people in the future. It's fascinating that she could have done so much, being, not like a huge deal. I respect that. So I wanted to start wrapping some of them up and bringing them back to the main idea that I started this, which is just looking at different people with the same name and how they can vary so much. So my comments about her would just be, I guess I'm proud to have shared a name with her. I mean, I'm proud that, she unknowingly stood up for what she believed in, and she did change something. It just seems, there's tons of homeless people right now because of the economic situation. And just saying that, the first sentence, she's a mentally ill homeless person, but she managed to, defeat New York City's efforts to force her into psychiatric treatment. Sometimes it's the people with the disadvantages that manage to do things that other people can't. It's just fascinating to me. If it's not to you, that's cool. I kind of want to look back at these later and really talk about it with other people I know. Thank you for watching this video. Sorry it's a little bit of a depressing one, but there's a bright side to everything. There's no picture of her because she wasn't actually photographed. So yeah, that was the seventh, let's go with 7, Billie Talks, and I will do one next week. I need to start doing these again. I'll do one next week. So you'll see me next week talking about someone else. But for now, I am Billie, and if you're out there and your name is Billie, contact me. Just talk to me. Yeah, have a good day, and see you later. Oh, and by the way, this Billie Talks was filmed on my new flip camera in HD. So if you like the quality, tell me. And if you don't, I'll just laugh at you because it was actually much cheaper than getting a real camera. Well, thank you.